Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to venture up, way up into the stratosphere, you could say.
Both literally and, well, metaphorically, right?
Exactly. We're doing a deep dive into a market that's really, truly soaring.
And that's the Global Low Earth Orbit Satellite Communications System Market, LEO for short.
That's the one. So our mission today really is to sift through the data, pull out the key insights, maybe some surprising facts too.
Yeah, we're leaning heavily on some great analysis from cognitive market research here. We want to get a real grip on the momentum behind this industry, understand what's driving it.
And believe me, when you look at the numbers, that momentum, it's pretty undeniable.
Let's lay it out. So back in 2021, the market was valued at around $637.72 million.
Okay, a solid base.
Yeah.
But then?
Well, projections show it hitting $149.5 million by 2025.
Already a big jump.
And get this, by 2033, the forecast is a remarkable $842.41 million.
Wow. Okay, that's massive growth.
Sure.
More than quadrupling from 2021.
Exactly. It really paints a picture of just how fast things are changing.
And there's a specific growth rate number too, right? The CAGR.
Yes, the compound annual growth rate. Between 2025 and 2033, it's projected at 13.263%.
13.263%. That's not just growth. That's like sustained acceleration.
It signifies a really profound shift, a shift in how we're thinking about connecting the globe.
Right. And the things driving this, they're not just abstract ideas. We're talking real needs.
Like the huge increase in demand for connectivity everywhere, especially in places that have been underserved for, well, forever.
And the tech advancements too, right?
Yeah.
Space tech has come a long way.
Oh, absolutely. Launch costs are down. Satellite tech is way more capable. It all feeds into this promise of, global internet access.
Truly global.
Yeah.
And faster, lower latency than the older satellite tech. High-speed broadband pretty much anywhere.
That low latency is key. LEO constellations can provide these high bandwidth connections even in really remote areas, difficult terrain where fiber just isn't practical.
Yeah, places where laying cables would cost a fortune or be impossible.
Precisely. And that capability is what's unlocking this explosive growth potential.
Okay, so that's the big picture. An incredible global trajectory. Let's maybe zoom in a bit now. Region by region.
Sounds good. Where should we start? North America usually leads the charge in tech.
Yeah, let's start there. North America seems to have really spearheaded this.
It definitely did. Valued at $257.639 million back in 2021.
Okay. And the forecast?
Big expansion. It's projected to hit $10,094.33 million by 2033.
Whoa. Over $1 billion just in North America.
Yep, with a strong CAGR too, 12.812%. Really robust growth.
And I assume the U.S. is the dominant player within that.
As you'd expect, yes. The U.S. started at $212.81 million in 2021, and it's projected to reach $892.206 million by 2033.
Still a very healthy growth rate there, 12.686% CAGR.
Solid, absolutely.
But looking at the data, something else jumped out at me. Canada.
Yes, Canada's story is interesting.
Smaller market size, sure, starting at $25.764 million. But the growth rate forecast is actually higher than the U.S.
That's right. It's projected to reach $119.391 million by 2033, and the CAGR, 13.64%.
13.64%. So why is Canada seeing that slightly faster acceleration? What's the factor there?
Well, it's a great observation. A big part of it is Canada's geography. Think about those vast, very sparsely populated northern territories.
Right. Huge areas, not many people, difficult terrain.
Exactly. LEO connectivity is kind of a game changer up there. It brings reliable internet to remote communities, to mining and resource operations, research stations, places where running fiber is just incredibly expensive or impractical.
Makes perfect sense. A prime use case.
It really is. And we shouldn't forget Mexico either, showing strong gains too.
What are the numbers for Mexico?
Going from about $19 million in 2021 up to $82.731 million by 2033. That's a 13.018% CAGR. Solid growth as it pushes for more digital inclusion.
Okay, so North America is clearly a powerhouse. Let's hop across the Atlantic. What about Europe?
Europe is another really significant piece of the puzzle, building a strong foundation for LEO.
Starting point.
$135.197 million in 2021. And it's forecasted to grow to $568.482 million by 2033.
Also very substantial growth, the CAGR.
A healthy 12.777%. So, very much in line with North America's overall rate.
And who's leading the charge within Europe?
Germany stands out,
All
really
right.
surging ahead.
Okay.
From $26.769 million in 2021, it's projected to hit $121.087 million by 2033. And look at the CAGR, 13.527%.
Wow, higher than the regional average. What's driving Germany's particular strength?
Well, Germany's putting big emphasis on industrial applications. Think Industry 4.0, smart manufacturing, logistics.
Connecting factories, supply chains.
Exactly. Connecting remote sensors, automated systems, smart grids. EO is a powerful tool for their economic model. That seems to be driving that impressive growth.
That makes a lot of sense. And the UK,
Mm-hmm.
also a strong player.
Definitely. The UK is climbing from about $20.8 million to $90.787 million by 2033. Its CAGR is 13.108%, so very strong as well.
And other big European economies.
Yeah.
France, Italy, Spain.
All showing significant growth. France projected around $68 million. Italy, near $60 million. Spain, about $46.5 million by 2033.
And importantly,
All of them have CAGRs over 12%. So it shows this isn't just one or two countries, it's widespread adoption across the key European markets.
it seems pretty broad-based then, even beyond the largest economies.
Oh, yes. It's clear it's not just concentrated there. You look at, say, Scandinavia. Sweden's projected at over $32 million. Denmark, over $23 million by 2033.
Using it for specialized applications, I imagine?
Likely, yes. And Switzerland's strong, too, at $27 million. Even Luxembourg, smaller country, but hitting over $6 million.
And the rest of Europe combined?
The rest of Europe category adds another significant chunk, around $61 million by 2033, growing steadily, too. It just speaks to how versatile LEO is, fitting into different economic landscapes.
Okay, so North America and Europe are strong, established growth areas. But if we're talking about sheer potential, what do we look next?
Now we turn to Asia Pacific. This is where things get, well, really explosive.
Exploding, you say?
Highest regional KGR of them all. A huge 14.224%.
14.2%. That's massive.
It really is. Look at the value jump. From $163.256 million in 2021
Okay.
to a forecast of $804.402 million by 2033. More than quadrupling.
Just astounding numbers.
Yeah.
So what makes Asia Pacific such a hotbed for LEO? Why that level of growth?
Well, it's a fantastic question. I think the core story here is about bridging the digital divide, but on a scale we haven't seen before.
Connecting the unconnected.
Exactly. China, of course, is a powerhouse, leading the region in absolute terms, growing from roughly $50 million to over $250 million by 2033.
Driven by their national goals, I suppose.
Yeah, national space ambitions, big infrastructure projects. Their CAGR is strong, too, 14.43%.
But you said there was something even more remarkable.
Yes. India. India's growth trajectory is, well, it's perhaps the single most significant trend in the whole global market.
Really? How so?
India shows the fastest overall growth rate anywhere, period.
Okay, give me the numbers.
Starting from about $18.8 million in 2021, it's projected to hit $103.768 million by 2033.
That's huge growth, but the CAGR must be.
Incredible, 15.322%.
15.3%. That's astonishing. What on earth is fueling that kind of acceleration in India?
It's a fascinating case study. You've got vast geography, huge rural populations, and a massive government push for digital inclusion.
So LEO is the answer.
For many areas, yes. It's much faster and way more cost-effective than trying to lay fiber across really challenging terrain. Think about democratizing high-speed internet for millions.
Enabling things like remote education, telehealth.
All of that, plus precision agriculture, connecting small businesses in areas that were just cut off before. It's a genuine leapfrog technology for India.
A powerful driver indeed. And it's not just China and India, right? The whole region seems strong.
Absolutely. Japan is another major player, projected to reach nearly $122 million by 2033. South Korea, over $73 million. Australia, around $28 million.
And some smaller but fast-growing markets too.
Definitely seeing impressive gains there. Look at Singapore going from $6.5 million to over $33 million.
Wow.
And Southeast Asia as a whole block from $15.5 million up to over $80 million. Both of those are registering CAGRs above 14%.
Incredible momentum across the board.
It really is. Taiwan's also hitting nearly $39 million, and the rest of APAC adds another $70 million plus. It just underscores this massive expansion of LEO capabilities throughout the region.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. What about South America?
South America is definitely showing emerging momentum. It's not quite the scale of Asia Pacific yet, but the growth is solid.
What are the baseline numbers?
Started at $38.263 million in 2021 and is projected to reach $176.855 million by 2033.
And the growth rate.
A strong 13.59% CAGR, so, definitely keeping pace.
And within South America, Brazil seems to be the leader.
Clearly, Brazil is projected to rise from about $15.4 million to over $70 million by 2033.
What are the specific drivers or maybe challenges pushing LEO in South America, particularly Brazil?
Well, like Canada, South America has unique geographical challenges. Think of the Amazon rainforest, the Andes Mountains, vast areas where traditional connectivity is incredibly difficult.
So LEO offers a lifeline again.
It really does. For remote communities, agriculture, environmental monitoring, disaster management, it's vital. Brazil's size and the need to connect its huge, hard-to-reach interior make it a natural leader.
And other countries in the region.
Argentina's looking strong, projected around $33 million by 2033. Chile climbing to nearly $17 million, both with CAGRs over 13%.
And the rest contribute significantly, too.
Yeah, Colombia, Peru, the rest of South America combined add another $20 million or so by 2033. It's a growing market.
Okay, two more regions to touch on. The Middle East.
The Middle East is also experiencing a really strong surge from about $30.6 million in 2021
Yes.
up to $139.761 million by 2033. The TIGR there is 13.472%. Robust growth.
What's interesting about the Middle East adoption is it tied to their economic plans?
Very much so. This growth links into those broader national visions, economic diversification away from just oil and gas, investing heavily in tech.
Smart cities, connected industries.
Exactly. Advanced digital services, LEO fits right into that. You see key countries like Saudi Arabia projected over $36 million, UAE nearly $26 million, Turkey around $25 million by 2033.
All growing steadily.
All with KGRs above 13%. It shows a strategic embrace of LEO, maybe for enabling that next-gen infrastructure, connecting remote oil and gas sites, or supporting tourism development.
Future-proofing their economies, essentially.
That seems to be a big part of it. And you also see Egypt, Qatar, the rest of the Middle East all expanding significantly too.
Okay, and finally, let's round out the world tour with Africa.
Africa. Now, it's starting from a smaller base, $12.754 million in 2021.
But the potential.
Huge potential. It's forecasted to hit $58.582 million by 2033. And the CAGR is still very respectable, 12.503%.
So significant growth is expected. And South Africa is leading on the continent.
Yes. Identified as the leader, projected to reach $23.562 million by 2033.
What puts South Africa at the forefront there? And what about the broader opportunity for LEO across Africa?
South Africa's lead probably stems from its more developed tech infrastructure, a greater readiness for these kinds of advanced connectivity solutions, especially for its industries like mining and logistics.
And for the rest of the continent.
For Africa more broadly, LEO is potentially transformative. I mean, truly, think about unlocking economic development by finally connecting remote villages,
Enabling education, healthcare.
remote education, telehealth, vital government services in areas where building terrestrial infrastructure is it's often not feasible financially. We then see Nigeria projected around $8.5 million, and the rest of Africa adds a substantial $26 million plus by 2033.
It signals that the potential is recognized continent-wide.
I think so. It shows a growing awareness of what LEO can offer.
So let's try and wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground, literally across the globe.
We certainly have. And the big takeaway, I think, is that this LEO satellite communications market isn't just growing. It's seeing this unprecedented, really pervasive expansion across every single major region.
Yeah, it's not isolated growth. It's everywhere.
We saw North America's strong leadership, Europe building that solid foundation, the strategic moves in the Middle East and South America.
But that Asia-Pacific growth, especially India, that really stands out.
Absolutely. Asia-Pacic's explosive potential, driven by that critical need to bridge the digital divide, with India leading that charge at an astonishing rate. It's quite something.
It really is incredible, witnessing such consistent high-level growth across the whole planet. And like you said, it's not just about slightly faster downloads.
No, not at all.
It feels much more fundamental, democratizing access on a scale we've never seen. Billions pouring into this.
An industry that felt like science fiction not that long ago.
Exactly. So thinking about this pervasive, rapid global connectivity,
Yeah.
it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How might this LEO expansion fundamentally reshape things?
beyond just communication.
Yeah, like global economies, how and where we work, access to education, healthcare, things we're probably only just starting to imagine.
That's a huge question. I mean, when you have truly universal low latency access practically anywhere, it almost redefines what remote even means.
Right. Geographic isolation might just stop being the barrier it always has been to opportunity, to information.
It could genuinely usher in a new era.
A powerful thought indeed. So maybe that's the question to leave you, the listener, with. What will a truly hyper-connected world, enabled by technologies like ALEO, actually mean for your work, your community, or just your connection to the wider world?
Definitely something to ponder.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you feel a bit more informed and maybe quite a bit more intrigued by this incredibly dynamic and, as we said, literally soaring market. Have you ever stopped to think about the invisible threads that connect us all in this, super digital world we live in now?
It's pretty amazing when you do.
Yeah, like flawless video calls, real-time data popping up on your phone. It all seems like magic, but there's this complex web of technology behind it.
A web that's getting more complex and closer to Earth, actually.
Exactly. Which brings us to today's deep dive,
Yeah.
the low Earth orbit, or LEO, satellite communications system market.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't just about, shiny satellites whizzing around. It's really about understanding these huge shifts
Yeah.
that are completely changing global connectivity.
Right.
We're going to unpack what's driving this market sky high, the big challenges it's facing, and, well, where it's all going. Our mission is for you to get the real picture, maybe learn a few surprising things.
And what's so interesting, I think, is how these LEO systems aren't just some niche aerospace thing anymore.
No, not at all.
They're really becoming fundamental, a cornerstone for this hyper-connected society we're building. It affects everything. Emergency services, your smart thermostat, everything.
Okay, fascinating stuff. Let's dive in and see what really makes this LEO market tick. So first up, the big one, the just massive demand for high-speed, low-latency connection.
Yeah, it's exploding.
And it's not just that we want things faster, it's how it's fundamentally changing whole industries, isn't it?
Absolutely. Real-time data isn't a luxury now. It's often a necessity.
We're talking massive amounts of data, like from fleets of autonomous cars or instant feedback for farmers using precision tech.
Or even remote surgery. You can't have lag there. Milliseconds matter.
Exactly. It's moved way beyond convenience. It's critical infrastructure now.
And that's where LEO really shines, because these satellites orbit much, much closer to Earth than the traditional ones.
Like the big geostationary ones way out there.
Precisely. Those are around, 22,000 miles up. LEO satellites are more like a few hundred to maybe a couple thousand miles.
Okay, so that closeness dramatically cuts down the signal travel time.
Exactly. It slashes the latency, the delay. That makes them perfect for those time-sensitive things you mentioned. Video calls, gaming, financial trading.
Right. It makes a huge difference. Think about smooth video conferencing, cars talking to each other instantly for safety.
Remote surgery is becoming more feasible.
Critical IoT devices needing immediate responses. You see this tech being snapped up everywhere now, right? Defense, farming, healthcare, transport.
Yeah, the adoption is really broad-based, and this faster, more reliable communication, it directly impacts how you use technology every single day.
Oh, so.
Well, even in ways you might not notice directly, like faster online transactions, maybe more responsive cloud applications you use for work. It's becoming embedded.
Okay, so this demand for speed is huge. But where is this connectivity perhaps making the biggest, most fundamental difference?
Yeah.
Because vast parts of the world have been left behind, right?
Totally. We're talking about rural areas, remote regions, places where laying fiber optic cable or building cell towers just isn't economical or practical.
The digital divide.
Exactly. And this is where LEO constellations are becoming, well, a potential game changer.
How are they doing that?
Well, you've got government initiatives, but also these big private companies, Starlink, OneWeb, are the famous ones launching thousands of these smaller satellites.
Thousands, wow.
Yeah, specifically aiming to blanket the globe and offer broadband basically anywhere. It's happening now.
And the impact of that,
Yeah.
it's not just about faster Netflix, is it?
Oh, far from it. Think about a community, maybe in a developing nation, suddenly getting access to online education resources.
Or telemedicine, consulting a doctor hundreds of miles away.
Precisely. Or participating in e-commerce, starting online businesses. It connects them to the global economy. It can genuinely transform local economies, improve quality of life in really isolated places.
That's where it gets really powerful for me, imagining the potential for communities that were just completely cut off before. That's huge. So what's actually making all this possible? Connecting the unconnected, launching thousands of satellites. There must be some big tech shifts happening behind the scenes.
Oh, absolutely. There's been a real revolution in two key areas,
Yeah.
making the satellites themselves smaller and making launches cheaper.
Okay, tell me about the satellites first. Miniaturization.
Yeah. Satellites used to be, the size of a bus sometimes. Huge, complex, incredibly expensive.
Right.
Now, thanks to advances in electronics and materials, they can be much smaller. Think more like a mini fridge or even down to a shoebox size for some functions.
And smaller means.
Smaller means lighter, cheaper to build, and crucially, cheaper to launch. You can pack more of them onto a single rocket.
Which brings us to the launch side. That's changed dramatically too, hasn't it?
Massively. The rise of reusable rockets, spearheaded by companies like SpaceX with their Falcon 9, it's fundamentally altered the economics of space access.
Oh, so?
Well, instead of building a brand new rocket for every single launch, you reuse the most expensive part, the first stage booster. It drastically cuts the cost per launch.
So it's like turning spaceflight from a bespoke, one-off mission into something more like an assembly line.
Sort of, yeah. It makes launching satellites much more frequent and affordable. And these two things together, smaller satellites and cheaper launches, they're the engine driving this LEO revolution.
It allows these massive constellations to even be considered.
Right, exactly. It encourages new companies to enter the market, spurs competition, and just accelerates the whole deployment process at a scale we've never seen before.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly promising. Almost too good to be true. But let's get real. This journey can't be all smooth sailing. What are the big roadblocks, the challenges these companies are facing?
Well, yeah, there are definitely significant hurdles. First and foremost is just the sheer cost. The capital investment required is astronomical.
Astronomical fittingly.
Yeah. You're talking billions for R&D, manufacturing thousands of units, the launches themselves, building out the ground stations. The initial price tag is immense.
And it doesn't stop once they're up there.
Not at all. There are significant operational costs. Maintaining the constellation, managing the network, dealing with replacements, it's a continuous drain, making it a tough market for smaller players to break into.
And speaking of replacements, these LEO satellites don't last forever, do they?
No, that's another key challenge. Because they're in low orbit, they experience more atmospheric drag than geostationary satellites way out high.
So they slow down and eventually fall back to Earth.
Essentially, yes. Their operational lifespan is typically only around 5 to 7 years.
Only 5 to 7 years. That means you constantly need to launch replacements.
Exactly. It requires a continuous cycle of manufacturing, launching, and importantly, deorbiting the old ones responsibly. That adds a whole layer of logistical complexity and recurring expense.
Okay, cost and lifespan. What else? There's the issue of space itself getting crowded, isn't there?
Ah, yes. Space debris and the risk of collisions. This is a major concern.
Because we're putting thousands of new objects up there.
Thousands upon thousands. And low Earth orbit is already cluttered with older satellites, rocket stages, and fragments from past collisions. The more stuff you add, the higher the probability of things hitting each other.
And a collision isn't just, two satellites bumping fenders.
No, definitely not. At orbital speeds, even a small piece of debris can hit with devastating force, potentially destroying a satellite and creating thousands more pieces of debris.
Which then increases the risk of further collisions.
Yeah.
That's the Kessler syndrome scenario, right?
That's the nightmare scenario, yes. A runaway chain reaction that could make certain orbits unusable for, a very long time. It could cripple essential communication, navigation, and Earth observation systems.
That sounds potentially catastrophic. What's being done about it?
Well, there's a growing focus on mitigation. Better tracking systems to monitor debris, international cooperation on space traffic management rules.
Like air traffic control, but for space?
Kind of, yeah. Developing protocols for safe maneuvering, ensuring satellites can deorbit themselves cleanly at the end of their lives. But it's complex, politically and technically. The industry has to invest in this and adhere to evolving standards to keep space sustainable.
A huge collective challenge.
Okay.
So despite these hurdles, cost, lifespan, debris, the momentum seems unstoppable. What are the big, promising trends shaping the future here?
I think the most obvious one is just the sheer scale, the rise of these mega constellations.
You mentioned Starlink, OneWeb.
Mhm.
Who else is in this race?
Amazon's Project Kuiper is another huge player entering the field. Telesat from Canada has plans. China is developing its own large constellation. It's becoming a global race.
And the goal is truly global coverage.
That's the ambition. Thousands, potentially tens of thousands, of satellites working together to provide seamless connectivity literally everywhere on the planet.
And all this competition must be driving innovation like crazy.
Oh, absolutely. It's pushing advancements in satellite design, making them more capable, more efficient. It's forcing companies to get smarter about using orbital paths and radio frequencies. The pace of innovation is really rapid right now.
What other trends are you seeing that are exciting?
Another really significant one is the integration of LEO satellite systems with terrestrial networks, especially 5G, and also with edge computing.
Okay, break that down. LEO and 5G. How do they work together?
Well, think of LEO satellites as providing the backhaul connection in places where fiber optic cables can't reach easily or cost effectively.
So connecting a local 5G network, say in a remote town or on a ship, back to the main internet.
Exactly. It helps extend the reach of 5G and enables those ultra-reliable, low-latency applications, connected cars, smart factories, remote healthcare, even where traditional infrastructure is lacking.
And where does edge computing fit into that picture?
Edge computing means processing data closer to where it's generated instead of sending it all back to a distant cloud server.
So on the device itself or a local server.
Right. When you combine LEO's low latency with edge processing, you get incredibly fast response times. Data doesn't have to make the long round trip. This improves speed, enhances security because less data is traveling, and boosts overall efficiency.
Interesting. So it's changing not just connectivity, but how data itself is handled and processed.
It really is. It points towards a more distributed, intelligent network infrastructure for the future.
And one final trend, you mentioned governments getting involved earlier. Are we seeing more formal partnerships?
Yes, definitely. There's a big wave of public-private partnerships. Governments see LEO constellations as vital for national security, providing resilient emergency communications and achieving digital inclusion goals.
So they're collaborating with these private space companies.
Increasingly so. And alongside that, international bodies and national regulators are scrambling to update the rules of the road for space.
Like allocating orbital slots, managing radio spectrum.
Exactly. Trying to create a framework that fosters innovation but also ensures safety and sustainability in orbit. It's a tricky balancing act, but it's crucial for the long-term health of the ecosystem.
So wrapping this up, as we've explored today, the LEO satellite communications market.
hmm
It's clearly way more than just fancy tech. It feels like a foundational piece of our future, doesn't it?
It really does. It's becoming a pillar for this hyper-connected digital-first world we're moving into.
The impacts are potentially massive.
Think about it. Expanding education in isolated areas, making autonomous transport safer and more widespread, ensuring access to healthcare remotely. LEO satellites are fundamentally reshaping what's possible.
And changing what we'll eventually just consider normal connectivity.
Exactly. This quiet revolution happening above our heads is really just getting started. The scale is incredible.
It really makes you think. So as thousands more satellites keep launching, weaving this global net of connectivity tighter and tighter, what new possibilities do you think this will unlock? Things we maybe haven't even imagined yet?